Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wants to end the war in Ukraine already this fall. US President Joe Biden prepares a decision to allow Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian territory. Meanwhile, US Vice President Kamala Harris beats Donald Trump in a debate on the ABC channel. So how will President Zelensky try to end the war in Ukraine this fall? Will President Biden allow Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia? And why did Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump in a debate on the ABC News network? Spanish media reported about the President Zelensky plan to end the war in Ukraine this fall. According to the Spanish media outlets, President Zelensky would like to end the war in Ukraine even this fall on the terms acceptable for Ukraine. President Zelensky would try to put even more pressure on Russia to force Putin to negotiate in good faith with Ukraine. This plan of President Zelensky would be presented to the world leaders, to US President Joe Biden, US Vice President Kamala Harris, and former US President Donald Trump. According to President Zelensky, this plan would consist of diplomatic, economic, and military means of pressure on Russia. And now it's all up to the Western leaders, Zelensky said. He said that all the fate of this plan depends on the will of Western leaders, on whether they would like to support this plan and put more pressure on Russia to force Putin to negotiate with Ukraine in good faith and to end this war on terms acceptable to Ukraine and to the Ukrainian nation. This was reported by the Spanish media, and also President Zelensky said about this idea several days ago. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden is preparing a plan on how to allow Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian territory. Reuters reported that President Biden said that he would not rule out allowing Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian territory. He said that his administration was preparing the plan on how to allow Ukraine to do so. Also, several US media outlets reported that the head of the US Congress Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCaul, said that Antony Blinken would allow Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia during his today's visit to Kyiv. Also, there have been some reports that the Biden administration finally would allow Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian territory. Also, US President Joe Biden will discuss this issue with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer. He will meet with Mr. Starmer and will discuss this matter. Also, several UK outlets like The Telegraph reported that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer supported the idea of allowing Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia with Western weapons. However, President Biden previously hesitated to allow Ukraine to do so. Although President Biden has been hesitating to allow Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia for many months, it seems like he finally would allow Ukraine to do so. Also, there have been other previous reports about the possibility of the United States of providing Ukraine with JASM, long-range cruise missile with a range of more than 300 kilometers. Also, there are also other variants of this missile with a range of more than 800 kilometers, but it's still unknown which model of missile would be provided to Ukraine. Also, several US congressmen called US President Joe Biden to finally allow Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian territory. Also, it would be important that this decision would not be delayed by some technical issues, because Russia could redeploy its air assets out of the range of this system. So it would be important for President Biden to make this decision immediately and not to waste valuable time, which could be used by the Ukrainian side to target, to destroy all valuable targets, all valuable military installations near the border of Ukraine. Meanwhile, British Defense Minister John Tkііe provided the House of Commons with new details of Ukraine's defense operation on the territory of Russia. He said that the longer the Ukrainian defense forces hold position in the Kursk region, the weaker Russian dictator Vladimir Putin becomes. Tkііe supported Ukraine's offensive deep inside Russia. As you know, Ukrainian forces continue its offensive operation inside Russia, and Russian forces seems to be unable to repel this attack and to counterattack effectively. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces would hold this ground for a while, for a certain period of time, and also the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army, General Zelenskys, said that this offensive operation deep inside the Russian soil has already allowed Ukraine to halt Russia's advances in the Pokrovsk direction, and now Russian forces are stopped near the city of Pokrovsk, and they are unable to capture the city despite their struggles and their efforts to do so. Meanwhile, US Vice President Kamala Harris beats Donald Trump in tonight's debate on ABC News. This was reported by CNN. CNN reported about the result of the recent poll, and registered voters who watched Tuesday debates between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump said that Harris performed better than Donald Trump. 63% of registered voters who watched this debate said that Kamala Harris had performed better than Donald Trump. Also, only 37% of voters said that Trump did a better job than Kamala Harris. Also, it's really a key result of this debate. It's significant figures. It's really a big deal because during the previous debate, CNN conducted the same poll, and the same poll showed that Trump has beat Joe Biden. The previous poll showed that 67% of the registered voters said that Trump performed better than US President Joe Biden. Also, let's cover and analyze the most important statements from both candidates during this US presidential election on the war in Ukraine. Former US President Donald Trump said that he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. However, he did not say how exactly he would do it. Also, he said that the millions of people are dying in this war. However, he did not specify the data he was emphasizing on. In the meantime, US Vice President Kamala Harris said that Trump would give up Ukraine to Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump said that if he had been the president in recent years, Russia would not have invaded Ukraine. This information has been reported by CNN. However, Vice President Kamala Harris debunked this statement from Donald Trump and said that Trump would just give up Ukraine to Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. Kamala Harris said that his administration was working and had a lot of success in unifying the Rammstein group, the contact group on support for Ukraine, and Biden administration has been supporting Ukraine for a while and has been supporting and has been allowing Ukraine to defend itself and to strike back, to fight back this war to Russia, and allowing Ukraine to defend itself and to destroy all Vladimir Putin's plans on the Ukraine invasion. Also, former US President Donald Trump avoided answering the question on whether he supports Ukrainian victory. He did not answer this question. He just said that he supports the end of this war. However, Kamala Harris said that her administration would support President Zelensky On the same time, Donald Trump refused to say that he would support Ukraine. He even did not say anything about the victory of Ukraine. Trump avoided answering the question on whether he supports the victory of our country. That's all for today. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, stay with us on YouTube, and glory to Ukraine.